I was looking at Lumintop's site and I came upon the GT Nano, and then I saw they had a GT Nano Pro. I was kind of interested in it just because of the size, and I saw some Instagram ads or something that said that, you know, it showed how bright they were for their size. I was like, man, I'd like to try those out, but I wonder what the difference between the Nano and the Nano Pro really is. So I got one of each, and I figured we'd take a look. So the GT Nano I got in green. Whoa, comes with a bunch of stuff. You can get a lanyard for it. A nice little carabiner clip. Got some spare O-rings and a key ring. That's nice. QC passed. And then there's the user manual. So with the Nano, we can do 1 lumen at 48 hours of runtime. We can do 31 lumen low at 4 hours. Medium is 180 lumens for 50 minutes. High is 400 lumens at 1 minute, it says plus 45 seconds, so it drops down. And then turbo is 700 lumens for 1 minute plus 12 minutes. So high is 1 minute plus 45. And turbo is 1 minute plus, it says 42 minutes. And the writing's so small I can hardly see that. So anyway, it comes with a 10280 lithium ion battery. Just a tiny little guy. Let's take a look at the light. So the Nano has multiple LEDs. USB-C recharging. I've had these out of the packages once and messed with them a little bit, but push and hold. Oop. So one thing I found is when it's ready to go, the green LED shows on the button all the time. It never shuts off. So all you gotta do is barely just twist that a little bit. Consider that a lockout mode. It just flashes once to let you know it's back on. Push and hold, and you get your moonlight. And you hold again, low, medium, and high. Low, medium, high. That is a lot of light. I can feel it on my hand from this little thing. Double click, and you're at turbo. So let's take a look at the Nano Pro. You know, like I said, I had these out before, and the green one is actually the Nano Pro. So the Nano Pro is the one with the multiple. The GT Nano comes with all the same stuff, spare O-rings and all that. So the specs that we read before were for the GT Nano. This guy right here. This one has a single emitter and super deep bezel. So you can see how focused that is. Low, low, medium, high. Low, medium, high. Double click for turbo. It's got a heck of a hot spot to it. So now the specs from the Nano Pro. The Nano Pro is 1 lumen for 40 hours, 100 lumens for 1 hour 30 minutes, 500 lumens for 25 minutes. High is 1,000 lumens for 1 minute, then 450 lumens for 23. And then turbo is 1,600 lumens for 45 seconds. Then it drops down to 450. Says power is 13 watts in the Nano Pro and 9 watts for the Nano, just because you have more emitters. Those are some pretty good stats for such a teeny little light. We're going to compare it to some other lights here, and then we'll take it outside and see what they can do in the dark. So we have an Olight i1R2 Pro. I have an Olight i5T EOS. And an Olight Baton 3. So you can see they're about the same length as the Baton 3, which is a nice short flashlight of its own right, but they're a lot thinner. You can get these with an extended body that extends like out to here and has a bigger battery in it. So you can get longer run times if you want, but I wanted this to be a small EDC-able package. I don't want to buy a small light and then make it bigger. The whole point of this, I have bigger lights. The whole point of this was how nice and small this thing is. It's fantastic. So let's just go side by side and show you the beam shots on the table here. I'll go to high on both. There you can see a big difference. The floody on the Pro and the hot spot with some spill. It's a pretty good amount of spill. Let's see about weights. So the GT Nano is 0.97 of an ounce, and the Nano Pro is 1.19. So it must be a little bit more stuff going on inside there to run multiple emitters. By contrast, the Olight i1 is 0.77. So it's a little bit smaller and a little bit lighter. We'll see how the light that this gives out. I can't see this keychain like this guy keeping up with either one of these. But it's I'm not going to say it's apples to oranges because they're just all small EDC-able lights. So you have to make up your mind. The i5T, 2.24 ounces, and then the Baton, 1.85. Oops. The bezel on the Nano is 7/8 diameter and 2 1/8 long. Same thing. It's the same exact measurements for the Nano Pro. Totally hide that thing right in your hand. It's a pretty good amount of light for such a little guy. Well, I would like to take these outside. I'm gonna take these 3 as well. So we're gonna run the GT Nano against the GT Nano Pro, and then against these 3 varying Olights. I want to do the multiple flashlights to give you some reference. You know, these are all popular Olight models, so we'll see. I could take these 2 out, we could do beam shots, but you're still not gonna know for sure kind of where they rank, its brightness and all that stuff until we run them against these. So let's head outside and do some night work. All right, so let's take a look at these out here in the dark. I have, to begin with, I have the Nano and the Nano Pro. The Nano will be in the left hand and the Nano Pro will be in the right. Here's where I kind of like, can you see the the 2 little green LEDs? If you're working around doing some stuff at night or in a tent or something, that would come in handy. So let's go with, there's the Nano. There's slow, medium, and high. And there's double click for turbo. Not much difference between turbo and high. Okay. And here's the Nano Pro. A lot floodier. There's low, medium, and high. Man, it makes a lot of light for such a little thing. All right, there's the double click turbo. Again, not much difference between turbo and, so Nano on the left, Nano Pro on the right. Obviously, the Nano has way better throw, where the Nano Pro is a lot floodier. There's the Nano Pro, and there's the Nano. All right, let's pull out some other lights here. This is a little Olight I1R2 at its highest setting right here. And we're putting it up against the Nano Pro. It's not even close. There's the Nano Pro on low against the Olight. Nano Pro on medium. Say the Nano Pro on low is probably not quite as bright. But then there's a Nano Pro on low and the Olight. But as soon as you go to medium, it drowns out the little Olight. So let's get just the regular Nano. So there's the Nano. And there's the Olight. Again, you step up the Nano and it is a lot brighter. All right. So here's the i5 at its brightest setting. Running on 1 AA. We're putting that up against the GT Nano. There's the Nano on the right and the i5 on the left. Nano on high makes a big difference. As far as throw goes, the Nano is out throwing everything easily. Let's get the Nano Pro out here and give that a run. Nano Pro. Nano Pro on high. i5 on its highest setting. i5. Nano Pro. Nano Pro's got it easily. If I'm walking my dog at night, even the Nano Pro on low is enough. There's the Olight on its low setting and on its high setting. The Olight makes more light than the Nano Pro when the Nano Pro is on low, but as soon as you go to medium, both of the Nanos beat the i5. One more. We've got the Baton 3. Let's see how that works. This should be pretty bright. There's the Baton 3 on high. And the Nano Pro on high. Nano Pro, Baton 3. Baton, Nano. There's the Baton on turbo. And the Nano on turbo. And Nano Pro. Nano Pro, Baton. Man, this Nano Pro is keeping up with the Baton. At least in light output. All right, let's switch it up here. I will say that when you run these Nanos in turbo, they do get warm. So there is the Baton again on high. And let's make sure we're on high. And here is the regular Nano on high as well. The Nano outthrows the Baton by a long shot. The Baton does offer a really wide beam. You have some spill with the Nano, which is fine, but it's really lighting the trees up way down there, where I hardly get anything from the Baton. I kick the Baton onto turbo. It doesn't make that much difference. I can start seeing the trees a little bit, but with the Nano just on high, I can see them. Nano, and there's the Baton. These little lights are impressive. Hopefully that gives you some good comparisons. and helps you, you know, see which of the beam shots. If you are interested in one of these Lumintop GT Nanos, this should give you some idea of which one might better suit whatever you need, the Nano or the Nano Pro, because they are very, very different. Again, one more time, there's the Nano with its throwy, its single emitter, deep bezel. And here's the Nano Pro with its multi-emitter, more shallow bezel, floody. I think for just general use, if I was going to grab one of these just to take the dog out, I think I'm going with the Pro. Okay, so here we are in the woods. You know, if you're going back to a deer stand or whatever. Here is the Nano, kind of looking into the woods. Here's the Nano Pro. The Nano Pro really lights this up well. Wow. You can pierce further with the Nano, but the Nano Pro, if you're just walking in or taking a trail, that is the kind of beam you want. I guess if you're really searching for something, looking out there, maybe you heard a noise and you're going to see what's going on, then the regular Nano might be the one. You can really reach into the tree. Maybe you're looking for looking at the trees for raccoons or something. I don't know. So here's the Nano, and Nano Pro. All right. Well, that was pretty fun. These are really impressive, as you saw, especially on the high. Keeping up with the baton, that was really something. The Nano, just the regular GT Nano, really has a lot of throw. When you saw in the woods, you could really penetrate deep if you were looking for eyes or something. But when I was in the woods after I filmed that clip and we compared these two, I used the Nano Pro to walk out and come back inside. That floody beam just works better. If I was going to take the dog for a walk in the dark and I wanted to take a GT Nano, I would take the Pro because it's floodier, it just has a more even illumination. Now, if there was a critter out there that I wanted to chase off, then I would go with the regular GT Nano so I could get a hot spot and really shoot out there, look up in the trees and stuff. For that, the Nano is better. These are some slick little lights. They're both really neat. How small they are for that much light. And they're not going to give you a ton of runtime, but you're not grabbing something like this and thinking, oh yeah, you know, I'm good for a week. I'm sure if you run these dead, they're going to charge fast. There's just not that much battery there. Let's take a look at the battery. Lumintop 10280 rechargeable lithium ion. There you go, 300 milliamp hours. So it's not a ton, but again, you can get a bigger one, but that defeats the purpose. In my mind, anyway. I guess I could put the red one on the green top, the red bottom on the green top. Who knows, maybe I will sometime. I'm just gonna put a little bit of this Nano gel on here, on these threads. I like to make sure that the O-ring and the threads and everything are lubricated. Oh yeah, I can feel the difference. I'll do this one too. Of course, it's the same battery in both. Be weird if they were different batteries. Not too much of that. There we go. I'm just going to put them in lockout. So there you have it, the Lumintop GT Nano versus the GT Nano Pro. And you saw it compared with the other lights as well. Very, very cool. Not very much money. These are fairly inexpensive lights. And for their size factor, what they bring, I think it's well worth it. USB-C charging, shoo, no problem. All right, thank you for watching. I really appreciate it. Let me know what you think of these. Which one of these did you like better? Are you gonna pick one up or do you already have one? I'd love to hear about it. Thanks, see you guys and gals next time.